Welcome back, everyone, to another Friday episode of Flex Friday episode of Major Money. And as always, I have with me Ross. Ross, we didn't do as good last week. We were on two straight family plays, and I diverted from the plan, and it cost us. Jacoby Criswell did not go over. I think it was like 235 passing yards. It was around there. He finished with like 219 or in that range, and he had 7 passing yards of the whole second quarter. That is just absolutely disgusting. He should have hit that every single time, even game state, everything. It was just a really weird second quarter for North Carolina. They did not move the ball or anything. So little unfortunate for us there, but we are back and we are going to get this family play. And Ross, you technically went perfect last week. You went 1 win, 0 losses, but 2 pushes. And so no losses though. That's still good on the record. I did unfortunately go 1 and 2, missing out on Jacoby Criswell as well as Mookie Betts. I did fade Yamamoto, and I learned how to say his name finally. So that is ironically the one I hit, the one I couldn't say. But Ross, without further ado, what is going to be your family play today?
So obviously, I think I've talked about this a couple of times. I am a Yankees fan, so obviously yesterday's game was an up and down roller coaster. And going into the game, I knew Game 4 was going to be one of those games where I feel like a lot of hitting is going to happen. You know, they're throwing out at least the Guardians now. Gavin Williams hits allowed over 3.5. I'm not going to take the Goblin. I'm going to take the Demon play. I'm feeling definitely a little bit excited for that one. He's not been good. I mean, if you look at his last 3, he hasn't pitched the whole postseason, and there's a reason for that. They're not confident in him coming out there. New York surprisingly has gotten the bats on the balls a lot more than I expected them to do in this series, especially against Class A last night. I mean, it's a perfect example, Judge and Stanton. I think the Yankees are doing very good getting walks in this series. I think that's really been the difference maker. Just them getting walks and getting guys on base, it puts more pressure on the pitcher, and he's going to throw a lot more balls to try to get hit. Over 3.5, I love the play. Literally, if you look, it's hit in the last 3, and it's a Demon play. I mean, you get an extra boost out of it. I'm definitely going to take it myself, and I love it for the family play today. I think there's a lot of runs. I think the Yankees are upset that they lost in the way that they did in a game where, in my opinion, I think they should have won, but that's a whole nother scenario of conversation. But I do love Gavin Williams to allow more than 3.5 hits. I think they'll let him in there a little bit, probably longer than they should. And the Yankees will get on a little bit of a streak, hopefully early, for maybe like second inning, and get things going and get up to a big lead.
To your point, too, he did pitch against the Yankees earlier this year in 4.1 innings, so 4 innings and 1 out, let up 4 hits, and a 6-0 loss. So he has faced this lineup before, did not do great. The only thing I would be concerned about is him possibly not making it. Like if he lets up like a home run or 2 or walks a couple people, he could be yanked. But the way the Yankees are hitting the ball recently, I really like this play.
Yeah.
And for my family play, we're going to keep it in the same sport here. Obviously, then it's going to be the same game. But as y'all know, I am addicted to pitcher strikeouts. We are going to fade the Yankees pitchers today because the Cleveland Guardians don't strike out. I said this in a Major Money earlier this week. The Yankees and both Guardians this postseason have not been striking out. And so the Guardians, even in the regular season, did not strike out. And they're getting even better in the postseason at not striking out. So this is a good trend here. Luis Steele does not strike out a bunch of players in general. So you see him facing against some teams that strike out a little bit more. He's still right around that line that we need to hit. The Guardians have been very, very sound with their approach. They are not a team that's going to put a bunch of runs on you at once. They are going to single you to death and nickel and dime you. And I know 2 outs, 9th inning, hit an absolute bomb. And that doesn't really go into my point here. But if you watch the rest of the game, they have 2 straight innings of bases loaded. So they get people on base. They typically do not strike out. They put the ball in play. Um, so I really like this play of going under on heel here of 4.5 strikeouts. I think it's going to be a very high leverage game. This is very pivotal in the series too. So kind of what I was talking about on last major money, and what we've talked about in the playoffs in the past, with the Dodgers game last week. Pitchers might not get good run. So if they look bad to start, or if they get tacked on a start, they're going to get yanked pretty quick. The Yankees can go up 3-1, which statistically says they will probably win the series. If they don't win, it's 2-2, and that's anyone's ball game, right? So this is a very pivotal game. I'm going to fade the pitchers. I think it works out pretty good that if he's pitching bad, he'll get yanked pretty quick. But also the Guardians just put the ball in play. So if he pitches several innings, I don't think he will even hit there. Now, you can look if you want to combine our 2 family plays, since Ross is playing a demon right here. If you do $20, you win 75 instead of the standard 60. So you're getting even better value there. So if y'all want to tail us, you can do that. And the best way to do that, and you can get even better value than just the standard $75. Play $5, get $50 instantly if you use the code 5. That's F5VE. And there is a very special promo going on right now. Anthony Edwards, all he has to do is score a point on opening night. You got about 4 days, 3 hours left. These do typically have a cap, I want to say, of around $25 or so. So you can't play every single thing with it. Obviously, that's not good business for Prize Picks. But if you include this here and then you go to Power Play, your $20 wins 135. And essentially, you look at it, you just have to hit these 2 props here, the Gavin Williams and the Luis Steele, to win 135 because Anthony Edwards is obviously going to score a point on opening night. Now, if you want to play ultra conservative, you can do the flex play. That is not good value for a free square. Do not do that. So I just want y'all to know kind of how the multipliers work and what promos we have now. You can standardly have to pick at least 2. You can make it a 3 and multiply up your multipliers very easily, no sweat. So you still only have to hit those 2 bets. So Ross, what is your next play for today?
Yeah, to bounce off of kind of what you said with your picks, especially with my pick, if you're not super comfortable doing the demon play, go with the goblin. I mean, I love the demon play there just because of I think the Guardians went through pretty much everybody they had as far as their bullpen it goes. They brought in, I believe it was Avila was his name in the 10th inning. And he wasn't even on a roster the first in the ALDS. He wasn't on a roster. So I think they're really weak. But if you want to play and go down on the demon, go down to the goblin 2.5. I think he definitely goes over that. But if you're feeling comfortable, I would go over on that. But we'll stay in the same game for my next pick, and it is the Cleveland Guardians' 9th batter. I don't want to butcher his name. I believe it's Brian Rocchio. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, for over half a base. Okay. There are 2 guys in this series that every time they get up, I am super nervous that they're going to get on base. And it's this guy and it is Stephen Kwan. Every single time those guys get up, they're either making contact with the ball or they're getting a walk or they're getting a hit. I think that Rocchio is going to get a base hit. I just feel like it's one of those games where every single player pretty much is going to be involved offensively, whether they're going to get on base with a walk, a steal, whatever is going to happen. They get on base, there's going to be action moving. The Yankees have Austin Wells out there tonight. They do not have Trevino like last night where everybody's going to be running all over the place on him. So that won't be an issue there. But I think that Rocchio is going to get on. He's been super hot this series. He's hit it in the last 5 of 5 games. And, I hate taking popular plays, but this is a play that I looked at before looking at, the popular plays going into it. And I thought this is a very great line for him. I love guys with it half a total base. They just got to get 1 hit. That's it. 1 single, 1 bloop, anything can happen. And we've watched this series with errors and stuff like that. So I love the over on this. I definitely am taking his over half a total base for the day.
Yeah, like we keep saying, they put the ball in play,
Mm-hmm.
1 through 9. So all it takes is for one to squeeze by the defense there. And in a tight game, that very well could be the case. I want to look at something real quick, and I haven't looked at this. If it's at half a base and it's a guy that typically only hits singles or so, you
Mm-hmm.
can play a specific single play.
Yep.
Obviously, that can burn you if he gets any other hit, but that is something to consider if you want to be a little bit riskier and you like playing those demons right there. That is another thing to consider. Now, I'm going back to picture strikeouts, and you went over Gavin Williams on his demon hits allowed. I'm going under on his pitcher strikeouts. I am fading both pitchers in this game, and I have done that a lot this playoffs. I sound like a broken record. Like, people are just not striking out in this playoffs. They are getting hits. Even guys like Stanton that have been striking out more and like are known for guys that strike out, not striking out near as much this playoffs. I think we've kind of seen the value of putting the ball in play, especially in a series like this where it's two really close teams, in my opinion, at least, with very solid pitchers. I think outside of this game, no disrespect to Gavin Williams, but he has not been great this year. But I think hitters are dialed in. They are comfortable. They are there to hit, and they are doing just that. Now, I mentioned Gavin Williams. He did pitch against the Yankees this year in a 6-0 loss, pitched 4 innings and 1 extra out, so 4.1 innings, had 4 hits, 3 earned runs, did let up a home run. But he did actually have 5 Ks that game. So I will say he has been hitting this over and for the last 5 and against the Yankees. It's just more so I think the Yankees have done a much better job at not striking out and putting the ball in play, as well as similar to what I said about Luis Gil. I think he could get pulled, and similar to what I said about your prop if you're a little bit worried to play the Goblin there. If you're worried he's going to get taken out, the under on the strikeouts is looking pretty good to me. But I think he could even pitch 5-6 innings the way the Yankees are hitting and still not get to this, and them just putting the ball in play constantly. Or, like you said, they've been using a lot of pitchers in very high stress games recently. They might just have to let them go. Just, hey, we're going to have to punt this game. You're just going to, eat up some innings for us so we can come back next game. That is kind of what I'm thinking, though. I don't think there will be a lot of strikeouts. I think it's been very good this playoffs, and I think that will continue to fade the pitchers. So, Ross, what is your final play for today's episode?
Yeah, I agree with everything what you said. I mean, I think that game's going to be important. I think everybody's going to get the ball in play. Unless your name is Austin Wells, then you're happy Boone dropped him in the lineup. He's hitting 8th, I think, tonight. So he's only got to probably face him 1 or 2 times. So hopefully he doesn't get 2 strikeouts. But that's the only guy that I think is strikeout prone for the Yankees right now. But going on to my next pick, I'm going with a guy that I have had the most confidence in all year, and his name is not Travis Hunter. It's that guy right in the middle, Cam Ward. He had the week off last week. He's got all the refreshments. He's good to go. He's got all the training, the treatment, everything he's needed. He took a week off, and I think a lot of people kind of starting to forget about him a little bit again. I think that everyone's kind of got their mind on Ashton Jeanty and Travis Hunter. But this guy, when he is on, everybody is talking about him. He's got the weapons. He's got the swag. He's got everything is needed. And they're not playing a crazy defense. Louisville does not scare me defensively wise. They're not a team that you look at the schedule and you're super scared to go against them. I think this game is one of those games. It's a shootout for Cam Ward and the Miami Hurricanes. I think they're going to come out strong. They want to continue to come out strong and show people, hey, we had a bye week last week. We are still here. I believe they're 6th in the country now. So they're just ready to cruise and continue the streak. I have very high confidence in this. I'm going with the over. I would use this on my family play, but I want to get you guys money tonight quickly, and then you can use it later tonight after the Yankees game and put money on Cam Ward. Put his over. Absolutely going to hit that.
What have we said every time we used it? I think they're hunting for the Heisman for Cam Ward. And I don't think there's a single good team outside of Clemson or Miami in the ACC. That's my personal opinion as a I'm wearing a shirt right now as a North Carolina fan. I think the ACC is absolute trash,
Mhm.
and I think Miami knows that, and they know they have to win on style points. Kind of like Florida State last year, the ACC was not good. The NCAA got an excuse to hold them out, and they did. So I think Miami knows that this is obviously 12-team playoff. They're going to make it, right? If they go undefeated or even one loss, probably. But it's all about seeding. Seeding will really matter in this 12-team playoff. And I think Miami knows they have to not just win, they have to wow people. And Cam Ward can wow people. And if shouldn't matter, but winning offensively with a Heisman level quarterback matters a lot more than winning with defense. So I think these will continue to be good plays. And if y'all think we are cheating with using the same two plays every time, because spoiler alert, I'm going to old trusty, old faithful Dylan Samson. Look, price picks doesn't have to be too hard here. You see something that you think is going to hit, it doesn't matter if it's the same play every single time. We're making money. And that's
Mhm.
what we've been doing with Dylan Sampson and Cam Ward. Now, we didn't use it as our family plays, so we could have a little bit of difference in our family plays every week, as well as get something in a big playoff game tonight. But Dylan Sampson, over 98.5 rushing yards. He is playing Alabama. It's going to be the biggest game on the schedule for Tennessee. It's a home game. I will be there. I'm very excited to watch this cash in person. Now, even if he doesn't get his standard, it's crazy saying it, standard 15, 20-yard runs in the SEC, that's just mind blowing. I think he will get a ton of attempts this game. Nico Iamaleava, really talented, but he's been more of a game manager and just very close, but not quite hitting the deep ball and stuff like that yet. And I think Alabama knows that. Alabama might force him to beat them. But either way, I think he's going to be able to chip away at this. And you've seen he hit 4 of the last 5. That one game where he didn't was against Oklahoma in an away game. He finished with 92 yards there, but he has consistently been hitting over 100 against SEC opponents, 2 of the 3 he's played, as well as even in blowouts in games where they have been behind. Both past 2 weeks, they have been 0-3 at halftime. And then they even got down 10 against Florida, but they kept running the ball because they know how important it is to their offense. In every game scenario, Dylan Sampson is going to get rushing yards and he's going to get rushing attempts. It's just a matter of obviously if he hits 100, and 100 is a high number to get against Alabama. But I was looking at it, and Alabama is in about the 50s or so. Let me pull it back up here. 47 in opponent rushing yards a game. So they actually let up more rushing yards than a typical Alabama squad there with over 100, I believe. It is 129. So they are letting up more rushing yards than a lot of people think. They are having to win games with higher scores against the better teams that they're playing. So, Ross, is there anything else you want to let our viewers know? Maybe even though we're only doing 3 picks, is there something else that stood out to you being the big Yankees fan here?
Oh man, Yankees fan. I mean, if I'm keeping it honest and taking the bias away, I'm going Judges over hits, runs, RBIs, man. I mean, it's right there. It's a popular play. Like, it's something I know. He's been hot. Look, he's hit it the last 4. And I know everybody, it was the big thing I saw on First Take. I saw on ESPN. Is Judge the guy anymore? Is he in postseason? He's done it the past 4 games. He's had 2 home runs the past 2 games. He looks on fire. And I know his home run yesterday really didn't matter because they lost the game, but he's been very important to this team. And it honestly looks like they're pitching to him more because Gleyber Torres is getting hot back on the bats. You have Juan Soto right before Judge, who's able to get on base all the time now. And when you have those 2 guys on base, how do you pitch around Judge? I know that Austin Wells was in the 4 slot the first 2 games, but now you have Jazz Chisholm, who struggled a little bit. He's not super crazy. But then after that, you have Giancarlo Stanton. So you got to pitch to somebody, and surprisingly, it's looking like they're going at Judge. They intentionally walked Soto one game to get to Judge, and he got a run there off that sac fly. So I love the over of that, taking the homer stuff away. I think anybody in this game, offensively wise, a bat, I would go there over total bases, hits, runs. I would just take a flyer on it because I do believe this game's going to be very, very bat heavy. The two pitchers pitching tonight, and again, I'm a Yankees fan. Luis Gil has not been great this year, and Gavin Williams, obviously, we know has not been super great this year. I would take the over on a lot of guys, but my favorite one would obviously be the captain, Aaron Judge.
Yeah, he had the most clutch hit of his life, and it ended up not mattering. In the moment, though, I think that matters for his mental.
Yeah. Exactly.
As a Red Sox fan, I like to hate on Aaron Judge, but there's just some things you can't hate on. When he's hot, there might not be a better hitter on the planet. Certainly not a better home run hitter, and that's all you would need for this. But like you're saying, they have to pitch someone. They have Juan Soto before and other guys before getting on base, so he can even get sac flies or get a single. There's so many different ways to get RBIs, hits, anything. He has the full offensive package when he is on, and that is certainly what he's been. So I put you on the spot there with an extra one, but you nailed it here. I really like that play as well. Seems like a lot of people do, being 65,000 people playing it. And that typically means they're playing the over too. So with that, as always, we will tweet out our picks, and we will include a link in there to use the code 5. When you play $5, you get $50 instantly. Like I said, you can use that on our Anthony Edwards free square right here, over 0.5 points. Obviously, that's going to hit. So use that, get extreme value. You can throw Anthony Edwards into our family play or any of our other picks if you like that, and get good value there. So let's steal some money from Prize Picks, and let's enjoy another awesome weekend of sports.